Hello and welcome to Come With Us, a podcast to meet all your fantasy needs. I'm Susie Nunez.
And I'm Reshea Kelly, and each week we dive into the tempting world of books, seductive romance, and a sprinkle of spice. Okay, on to Mercy. We've already talked, we've spent 20, 25, 30 minutes talking shit about Beau. Let's talk about that redemption arc, baby, because good God, I think I know the source of all of his issues, and it's that he was so set on being perceived as masculine by what society told him masculine had to look like, that he was just so pent up of all of the stuff that would make him actually happy that he became a miserable piece of shit.
Yep.
And if he had just learned that, hey, you can like to have a vibrating butt plug put in your rear for 8 hours a day and be told that you're not allowed to come until I tell you to, and still be viewed as a perfectly healthy masculine man, then this never would have happened.
I think Beau is the definition when in praise and at the beginning of Mercy of toxic masculinity. He is the definition of Andrew Tate, and why we should not have any Andrew Tates and why men like that should not have any platforms, because they are a danger to society, like to them and to society. I have to admit, this wasn't my favorite book from the whole series.
Okay.
I liked it. It was nice. It was so nice. Really, one of my favorite things from this book was that he is a sub. He is the one subbing and not a woman, because we don't see a lot of that, right? When it comes only to men, and when it comes to a hetero relationship, we don't see that a lot. I love that Maggie, a very stoic person, a person that doesn't know how to actually have fun. I think she says that in the book. I don't know how to have fun. I'm always working, and I live for that, and that's it. That's the only thing that I care about.
Yeah.
I love how the author made her be someone that likes to be a dummy.
Yeah.
And then someone like Beau with toxic masculinity, with lots of daddy issues, with lots of trauma, with lots of things that he has to work on, a sub. Because that is a perfect chemistry combination. It's phenomenal.
Absolutely. I thought it was great. Also, I kind of realized at the end of it, Beau and Charlie never would have worked because they're both subs.
No, at all.
It never would have worked. Mercy for dummies. Here we go. Beau is still reeling from his ex-girlfriend getting into a very serious relationship with his father. He's working on rekindling that relationship with his dad. And then they go and get engaged. And this is hard for Beau because, I don't know, the world still revolves around him somehow. Anyways,
literally.
Get over it. Anyways, we're moving on. So he and his friends are hanging out and getting high one night, and they're like, oh, we should totally do this BDSM test, and it'll tell you, what your kink is, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, what the fuck? Because he realized it's from his dad's sex club website, and he's like, that's
no, it's the app. They have an app.
Sorry, their app now. And so he's like, no, fuck that. And they're like, what's your problem, dude? And then he just leaves, or he makes them leave. I can't remember. And he
leaves.
Yeah, he leaves.
He's very high and he leaves. Yeah.
And he's like, fuck it. I'm just going to do it to prove to everybody that I am the most vanilla motherfucker out there. And it comes back and it says sub, baby. And Maggie.
No, I think it said something like Brat sub.
Brat. He's definitely a brat and a sub. And and Maggie is one of the owners of the Salacious Players Club, and she is no nonsense, very boring, doesn't really know what her own personality is for anything, including how to decorate her own home. She's a blank slate baby, and she hasn't even had sex in a couple of years because she's like, eh. She's like, my vibrator will do it better. A man is never.
I mean, her relationships were like shit. So she's like, why am I gonna waste my time? I love working.
Exactly. And no man had ever given her an orgasm before.
Oh my God, yes.
Which, I mean, raise your hand if you have gone entire periods of your life without knowing that men were capable of giving you an orgasm. Thank you. And hands down. That was most of the room. Yes. So so yeah, she's like got this app, she runs this company, and they're like, Maggie, did you do the test? And she's like, ew, no, I would never. They make her
Yeah.
do it essentially. They're like, we're gonna do it for you. Girls night.
Mhm.
And so they ask her the question, she's like, oh my god, like I guess. It's like a total like junior high. You're doing the quiz in Cosmo. Do you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
of course, because we have to think about it this way. She is dealing with very young women. She is on Emerson's age-ish. She's 37
Okay.
getting to 40, I
She's
think. And then
34.
she's
We'll talk
34.
about that
Oh
in
my
a
god, I thought she was
yeah,
40 years older.
let's talk about this in a moment where the reverse age gap, the older woman is my age and the
34?
older man was 42. I'm not older woman.
Wow.
Mhm.
Okay, okay, okay.
Still 12
Okay.
years older than him, but anyways. So she's moving into this house and they're doing a move-in party, and all the other women who are smaller characters here, main characters in their own books, they are like, oh my
Mhm.
god, let's do the test. And they do the test and she's like, oh my god, did you see what your results were? And then she sees her results are Dom, Brat Tamer,
I think it was
and
Brat Tamer, yes.
like some other things, and she's like, no, could never be me. And
Mm.
then the other thing the app does is it matches you with people whose answers are perfect counterparts to your answers. And so then, namelessly, facelessly, she begins having a text-based conversation on this app with, unbeknownst to her, Beau,
Mhm.
who's actually at the move-in party, helping his dad move boxes for her, right?
Mhm.
And then they just kind of have like a little, like, they finally, like, they're like, okay, we're gonna meet up, and then I'll have the little D written on my mask, and you have the S written on your mask at this masquerade party at the club, whatever, the night of his parents' engagement party. And then they go into one of the
His
rooms, they
parents,
cancel each
that is
other,
very creepy.
his dad and ex-girlfriend's engagement. I digress. I'm trying to make this fast. So with their masquerade masks on, they don't see each other's faces. They go into one of the blackout rooms in
Mhm.
the sex
The
club.
club.
They start making out. He fingers her until she has an orgasm, and she's like, "What the fuck was that?" And then the lights come
Mhm.
on for some reason. I can't remember why. It's been a minute since I've read this. And then they see, oh, he recognizes her voice
Her voice. Yes, 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 yes,
or the
yes.
other way around, and she's like, hold the fuck up. And then they turn the light on, they're like, oh god, we can never talk about this again, holy shit. And then they keep talking, they're like, but I mean,
It
can we
was good.
just maybe? And then so they're both really new to these dynamics. She's never
Yeah.
done anything dommy before, but she's
Yeah.
fantasized about it, and he's never done anything subby before, but he's trying to change his life around. And so they make an agreement, and it's just sex, no feelings, and we know how long those last.
Of
And
course we do. We
basically,
love those agreements.
we love those. And so basically, they learn to grow in these dynamics and these
Mm.
roles, and they grow closer to one another. And then Beau's dad has the audacity to get mad at him.
No.
I can't with this man.
Like, I really like Emerson. All of the books, yes. But in that part was like, in Spanish we say, que bolas tienes.
Que bolas tienes.
Like, how dare fucking you?
Right? Like you see the hypocrisy here, correct?
Insane.
And he's like, it's different because she's known him since he was a kid. No, the fuck, it's not.
She
It's
didn't
not
groom him.
different. No. Anyways, so that's your little rundown if you didn't read the books.
Basically, there is a moment where Emerson finds out because Beau has a little thing that happens at the club because someone attacks him because, of course, people
One of
hate
the
the club.
protesters. Yeah, the
Yeah, they hate
protesters.
the club because they don't want that club in their city, town, whatever. And
Mhm.
someone attacks Beau, and then he was with her. They go to the hospital. nothing really bad happens, but that's when everyone finds out. And I didn't love that. I thought they could have, I think the author, that's why maybe the book is not my favorite, because I think that cathartic, moment in the story could have been
Yeah.
so much more.
Yeah, it was almost like there was an what's it called? It was very anticlimactic. Like
Yes.
I was expecting a blow up of some sort.
Yes.
I was expecting Bo to have this moment where he just really had it out and he just like went in on his dad on all of the
Mm-hmm.
ways that, him dating his ex-girlfriend might have been traumatizing to him, or, the ways in which how he was raised may have affected him. And then been like, and I'm in love with her, and the fact that I can't share this with, I had this whole, I was like, oh, it's gonna be such a good like comeuppance, right?
Same.
Also, I was really hoping for maybe him to be a little bit worse injured. I wanted it like a gunshot wound, not like
Thank
he got
you.
conked on the head. I was like, oh, he just got a concussion.
I literally,
All
you know what
right.
I said? I was reading it in my bed and I was like, that's it.
I know. I was like, I mean, I guess it's good we don't want him to die, but he
You know
could have
why,
been a little
Reshea?
closer to death.
But you know why? Because we read so many fantasy books that
Nobody's
he
been
dies, but then
stabbed
he
with a
comes back
sword.
on book 3.
It's now a paranormal romance. She's
Exactly.
fucking a ghost.
But yeah, basically that's how the story goes. Some people have said that this podcast, they love it, but the episodes can be a bit shorter. So let's do this fast. Rochelle,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Bo and Charlie, it's so interesting. He's a very, 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 very sub, but he's a total brat. And
Yeah.
then Charlie, she's a total sub and a good girl. She wants to please her master, her daddy, her
Yeah.
sir. And that was great because you see the difference between praise and mercy very clearly on what
Mm-hmm.
a sub is, a real sub is, and what a brat actually is.
Yeah.
Love it.
I think that's just a great dynamic showing that a sub doesn't mean the same thing for everybody.
Yeah, definitely. One scene that really I was like, oh my god, this is so good. When Maggie punished Bo for masturbating, she told him no. He did it anyways because he's a total brat. And
Mm-hmm.
then that one you
Oh,
want to
you
talk
want to
about it?
come? Oh, you want to come? All right. Sounds good. I'm going to make you come until you cry, until you can't come any longer, until your balls have gone,
Mm-hmm.
no, please. And then I'm going to make you do it a couple more times. And also, you're going to be painting my dining room at the same time. Um, a little apropos that he was painting it white. Uh, and then that was just, I think that was like one of the first like real sub scenes to happen.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
hot, hot, hot. Okay. So we already talked about how Bo represents most men in society right now.
Mm-hmm.
That they're sad, lonely, lost, they've got anger issues, they're auto-destructive, they have very low emotional intelligence, and they don't know how to or want to work on themselves. Not knowing how to express his feelings, Bo got stuck on these toxic characteristics, and he kept thinking like, this is how men have to be, because his dad also showed
Yeah.
him that that's how men have to be. There were
Yes.
whole scenes where, they did like flashbacks to when Bo was a little kid, and his dad didn't let him see any weakness.
Yeah.
And as a parent, I understand like wanting to hide that from your kids, like financial issues or things like that, but never letting your kids see you cry, never letting your kids see that you're struggling, never teaching them like, hey, you're gonna have issues, here's healthy ways to handle those things. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
that was a mistake on Emerson's part as a parent. And then there's how badass Maggie is, because she has completely rejected the patriarchal expectations of her, and how
Mm-hmm.
she's been punished for it for years now, not directly but indirectly, with unfulfilling relationships, because nobody
Yeah.
wants to, nobody is is willing to rise to the occasion for her. And I'm proud of her for not going, all right, I'm just going to settle and marry somebody because I want to have a life with
Absolutely.
somebody. She's like, you know what? No, I'd rather be alone. And badass, Maggie, just badass.
She's the
I hope
best.
I'm like her when I
really
grow
do
up.
like her. I really
Yeah.
do like her because she got the monies. She
Mhm.
got the, you know, a job that she really loves. Even though she doesn't have the confidence at the beginning, she actually gets it during the book. And being
Mhm.
a dummy or a dumb helped her so much to, you know, embody that persona that she actually is.
Let's talk about Maggie's body type for a second. I,
Mhm.
in the words of our friend Tierney, absolutely froth a thicker female main character.
Yes.
That there was this whole thing going on in her head where she did not think that she had the right body type to dress sexy or to, you know,
Mm-hmm.
wear these clothes and do these
To
things.
embrace her body in general.
Yeah, there was this whole scene where they weren't in a scene together. They weren't playing their roles. She was just Maggie and he was just Bo, and they're like, it's been raining and they're in the garage and they're making out against the car, and Bo like put his hands like on her waist, and she mentions like that his hands touched her rolls and she instinctively like sucked it in and everything, and I was like, holy shit, I do that all of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And my partner is very familiar with my body, and they've seen every bit of me, and yet still I'm like, oh no. And it's never been something that's a conscious decision. It's not like I really think too hard about it when I do it. But when she wrote that, I was like, oh shit, I do that all the
Mm-hmm.
time. And I was sitting there going, Maggie, no, you're hot. Like, and why can't I say that to myself? So then they have this whole thing where she's like, no, my rolls. And he's like, are you fucking kidding me? I
Yeah, you're
love
hot as
this.
fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he
yeah.
just goes absolutely feral on her. And I was like, I need to start loving that whole reading that bit really like jump
Helped
started
you?
me. Yeah, it really jump started me being more conscious whenever I was having those thought cycles.
Preach.
And it kind of like every time it would happen, I'm like, nope, I'm not gonna do it. So yeah.
And you
Yeah.
know, now that we're talking about this, I don't care why you as a man care about that. You want the titties. You want to have, you know, meat where to grab. You want to have the butt. You want, like, I don't get it. I don't understand why would you say she's fat, or I get that we all have preferences. Of course, I totally
Yeah,
get that. We all like what
sure.
we like.
But
But the
why would
fact
you
that
make
you
somebody feel bad
think,
about it?
exactly, the fact that you think that you have to make a comment about it, you gotta be, there's something going on there. You gotta check this, because I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, and as somebody who likes ladies as well, I think perhaps 80% of the time I look at a woman and I go, God, beautiful.
Same
80% of women. I'm sure I'm sure I've seen women and I've gone, ugh, but it's less like body type and more
personality.
like choices they make, not things they don't have control over, you know, like
Yeah.
why'd you dye your hair that color? Or, you know, like, oh, why'd you pick that outfit? You know, but like
Yeah.
but like looking at women, I'm just like, yes, A plus, 10 out of 10 would kiss. And the fact that there's so many men who get so choosy, and I'm sitting here like, I'm sorry, are you or are you not lower 30% in attractiveness on the man scale? You're not even hot, and you're sitting here telling me that I need to lose some weight? You can
That's
fuck
what
all
I'm
the way.
saying. The audacity, you know, the audacity
Same.
of thinking that you can say something, it's insane to me.
So that scene leads into the role reversal scene.
That is when Maggie tells him, you know, it's that, because I think she asked either Madam or Charlie to how was it to reverse the roles and the dynamics and all of that.
Yeah.
And they said that it's good from time to time to do it. Because, you know, you
Yeah.
get to know how they feel, they get to know how you feel and all of that.
Yeah.
And I know he felt like he abused her in a way or another, but that scene was so hot to me.
Yeah. The number of times that I imagined, like, what would it be like to just be like absolutely hate fucked and then read that scene and go, oh, that's what it
Yeah.
would be like. Good to know.
Yes.
Right.
And then at the end, and he finished, he does what he does. And then she's like, and he's like, oh my God, I'm sorry. And she's like,
I'm
I
so
loved it.
sorry.
Look at me. Because he kind of goes like in his mind and he has like a panic attack ish. And she's like,
Yeah.
look at me. I liked it. It was great.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. I really like that scene. That's one of my favorite parts from that book because he got to experience what she feels, but at the same time, I don't think he liked it that much to do it
Yeah.
again really soon. You
Yeah.
know?
Like I think it probably would have been easier for him if he had been doing it with somebody he didn't have emotional feelings for.
Yes. Most definitely, yeah.
So, also one thing we loved, no babies.
No.
There were no babies.
Emerson,
Baby
we
trope
didn't say
free.
it before. We didn't say it before, but Emerson has a vasectomy and he tells Charlie, and he's like, I never want kids. And I
Yeah.
love how they managed that conversation and how Charlie was like, you know what? I think I'm okay with that. Even though
Yeah.
she's 22 and people will say, oh my God, you're so young. Stop saying that. People know. Women know.
It's
And
my
even
body.
if we
Let me
change,
keep my uterus out if I want to.
and even if we change our mind, it's okay. It's okay. It's us.
You can adopt. Anyways.
Exactly. The ending to me was a bit like, you know, the what's the name? The epilogue. The prologue.
Epilogue. Yeah.
Not the epilogue,
Epilogue.
yeah. The epilogue. The epilogue was a bit like, that's it? Really? Like, I get
Yeah.
it. They're happy. I love the fact that he's still, you know, a sub. She's still a dummy. They work together. They have a great relationship. That they opened that club over there. We love it, but that's it. Like, I wanted more.
Yeah, I wanted more. I didn't want it. I wanted more of the scenes of them like exploring their dom. I just wanted more examples of a dom sub relationship, honestly.
Dude, I loved Bo's and Charlie's sister relationship. It was so
Oh yeah.
beautiful. She helped him so much.
I thought that was really cute too.
She really
And
did.
I really loved that Charlie's little sister plays D&D and that she made Bo go with her. And then
It was
he was
cute.
like,
And I love how he reacted with the little guy, the guy that liked, you know, her and
so
all of that. It was
protective.
so cute.
He
It
got
was
so
so cute.
protective.
So cute.
It was cute, yeah. But I also
Even though
think
that was at the beginning,
yeah.
I knew that he was going to be a nice character because he had this niceness in him, you know? He just
Yeah.
wasn't allowed to give it to people.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was really great because his relationship with her did a lot for teaching him the
His
character.
character development, yeah.
Yeah, it taught him boundaries and consent and things like that because, you know, yeah, he wants to protect her, he loves her, cares about her as a little sister figure, but you can't just go beat somebody up because they hurt that person.
Mm.
And he had to learn that like it doesn't matter if you love them or not. You
Mm-hmm.
can't just go do those things on their behalf arbitrarily because you're a man and that's what men do, you know?
And I think that Bo didn't know how to communicate his
No.
feelings or how everything was developing in his, you know, insides. And
Mhm.
that's how she helped her Charlie's sister. And that's how Maggie helped him because they talked a lot. Even though it was
Yeah.
a lot of fucking and yes, and the dynamics, Maggie taught him how to actually say, I'm feeling this, I don't like this, I think we can work on this. And he
Yeah.
didn't know that before.
Yeah. All right. So, Susie, who is your favorite character out of all the books?
In these two books, I have to say that is Charlie's mom. I think the way that she supported her daughters when the dad left,
Mm-hmm.
You Have My Heart Forever. It's
Chef's
giving
kiss.
Vincent's parents from Losers
Yeah.
and My Heart Forever. In these two books specifically, if I had to talk about the whole series, it has to be
Mhm.
Garrett. I
Okay.
will die for Garrett any day. But we will talk about Garrett in the next episode, I think.
Okay. And for me, Smurf, Charlie's little sister.
Yeah.
Absolutely my favorite. I think because she also just was, she didn't have anything writing on her relationship with Bo really. So she was just like, you're being a dick. I love the raw honesty of her and how she was not afraid to just tell him when he was fucking up. And because she was a child / teenager, he was more receptive to hearing what she had to say. And then also I loved Madame Kink or Madame Kink, however you say it, because I want to be her someday. I want to be her.
She has an amazing job. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
When we get to her book, something else that I want to say about Charlie's mom is that she's very non-judgmental. Charlie was going out with Emerson. Charlie was doing whatever she was doing at the club, and the mom was like, "I let you leave. Just be smart about it." And that is something that we don't see a lot when we see parents' roles in books. And I really liked it. I enjoyed it very much. Let's rate these books. Mercy.
3.5 out of 5. And
Why?
I say that because I love a brat, and I really, really loved seeing a man unlearn toxic masculinity and kind of learn what it's like to be masculine, but then also be true to himself and not reject certain things that he likes just because it doesn't fit with the norm. It's kind of a fantasy of mine.
And I second that really hard.
Okay. How about for you?
For Mercy, I put here 3.5, but actually Mercy, I will say 3 out of 5. And it's just, again, the same. The climax wasn't it for me. Even though we had a lot of those in the books. And even though I liked Bo, he's not my favorite character. He's not a character that I will remember forever. And that is important to me. Even I will remember Maggie in things in my life, probably. But Bo is not going to be a character that I'm going to be like, oh my God, yeah, I love him. No, ever.
Gotcha. That's fair.
Yeah.
Right,
well, that's it.
We did it.
We did it again. We did it again.
Because you can't get enough of us. Follow us on all of your socials at Come With Us Pod. And be sure to go to comewithuspod.com to find all of our links for TikTok, Instagram. Apparently we have a Threads. Be sure to leave a 5-star review, pretty please, and send your favorite episode or this episode or all of the episodes to any of your friends that listen to podcasts or read smutty books or all of the above. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, all of those different podcast platforms. Wherever you get your podcasts, please go ahead and review, subscribe, and then head on over to YouTube where you can find us at Come With Us Pod as well. And be sure to click that little subscribe button and leave us a comment letting us know that you're there. Thank you so much. Mwah.
We love you. And from here, with our semen-like nails, we love you very much. And we just want to say, sinners, you've been good little angels. You deserve the world. We, as your little dummies, want to tell you that you've been good. You've been good and you deserve everything. We love you. We'll see you next week. And remember, stay wicked, stay wild, and keep reading. We love you. Bye.